Hello and welcome to another one in our series of Fireside Chats for NodeConf EU. I'm Katie Roberts and I'm here with Benedikt Meurer. It's great to meet you. I was wondering if you could start by just introducing yourself and telling us a bit about what you do.
Yeah, thanks. So my name is Benedikt. I used to work on the V8 team, which is why I gave a talk about V8 at this conference. But since about June this year, I'm working on the Chrome DevTools team for Google, also from the Munich office, which is growing, and we have some really nice projects there.
Yeah?
Nowadays, yes.
Cool. So your talk at NodeConf EU was about V8. Can you tell us some of the things that you covered in that?
Yes, so I tried to give an overview of what was going on in the past years. Specifically, like last year, we gave a talk about V8, specifically about async iterators and async function performance in V8 last year here. So I tried to cover what happened since then. The V8 team focused a lot around memory, and specifically memory improvements for Chrome. This was motivated partly by just the need to do so, because the new world is more and more mobile, so devices don't have that much RAM as your beefy workstation. However, there was also a security aspect to that, which is Spectre happened 2 years ago. And that demands new mechanisms to protect users and to protect user data inside of Chrome as well, which means that what we're going to do, or what we are doing, is a technique called site isolation, where every site is isolated into its own process, and then we trust the operating system to make sure that no one can read data from other processes. But that means, like, you have a site and you have 20 iframes in that site, and 20 of them coming from different origins, like ads or whatever, and you don't want them to read your data from the site. So before, all of these would run in a single process. But now with site isolation, every origin, every iframe in the worst case has its own process behind it. Which on desktop wasn't that much of an issue, because we have plenty of RAM, and in the initial memory improvements helped a lot. But bringing this to Android was very important. And so we had to cut down on memory usage quite a lot to make this viable on Android, and we're almost there to ship it on Android to all users.
That's awesome. You also mentioned in your talk about TTS. Do you want to go into what that is?
That is our own metric for speed, which we use. This is the name is Time to Shakira. I don't even know who came up with the idea of just taking the Shakira Facebook page. You could take any page you want, but for some reason we decided to take the Shakira page. And we use that to measure page load time improvements. And the reason for that is not Shakira, but rather Facebook, because Facebook sends around 30 megabytes of JavaScript on the desktop page, and that stresses the engine quite a bit, so it's a pretty good use case. And we actually managed to cut down the time to load the Shakira page significantly, like even doubled the performance for the last 2 years.
Yeah, it was very, very impressive in your presentation to actually just see the time come down, and the animation that you put on your slides was really, really
You don't need to
good.
look at the numbers. You can feel it.
It speaks for itself.
It speaks for itself.
But you did mention at the beginning of your talk that this is the last time you're going to be talking about V8, so why is that?
Yeah, as I said before, I'm no longer working on the V8 team since summer, but I moved on to the Chrome DevTools team now.
Yeah, and what will you be doing there?
I'm the tech lead of the Chrome DevTools team, which means I'm making sure that everyone has something useful to work on, and that we're actually meeting the goals that we set out to meet. Part of this is we want to work on WebAssembly. Definitely the developer experience for WebAssembly is crucial for the success of WebAssembly, and so far the developer experience is not where it should be. It's actually pretty hard. So assuming that your code just works, that's awesome, and everything is nice and supported, but as soon as something goes wrong, our tooling is currently not there. Yeah. So that is a high priority for us. Another high priority is also improving dev tools for designers. Specifically, CSS is one of the core areas where Chrome DevTools wants to get better. Yeah. And there are other areas like helping developers to reach speed goals for websites, and DevTools should also support them in that, so just as being part of a larger set of tools to help developers to build websites that are just fast by default.
And I've got to say, I've got a bit of experience. Some of my developers have been in touch with the Chrome developer DevTools team, and you've opened a dialogue with them, and it's been very back and forth. But they've been working with you, which is really nice. So the BBC are working with Google to try and improve those DevTools as well. And yeah, you've been helping us. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Sure, that's always awesome when it works.
Yeah. I wanted to just ask you finally, what's been your proudest moment working on V8? What are you most proud of?
Yeah, it's definitely Turbofan. So we worked on this new optimizing compiler for JavaScript. JavaScript is not just a single, you don't just take the JavaScript code and compile it to machine code and you're done. That wouldn't be very fast. But what you instead do is you have multiple tiers of execution, and the lowest tier is now a bytecode interpreter, which is really fast to generate. But the execution speed of that is not so great. So what JavaScript engines do instead is that they also provide tiers where you generate more optimized code. And Turbofan was one of our most ambitious projects that we ever took on in V8. And I was leading that team from 2015 to when Turbofan launched in 2017, and that was probably my proudest moment when we finally enabled this for everyone on the web. And people were just happy, everything was more snappy and faster, and Node people were like, oh, everything runs 40% faster, awesome.
No, it's a really great thing to have done.
That was really good, yes.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.